I'm Peter. I'm the owner and operator of Grandma's House, our short-term rental, and we wanted to make a video that tells about the history of Grandma's House, starting as a farmhouse in the 1950s, being a family house, and then Grandma's House over the last 70 years. And we'll go through and show some of the things that we've done to preserve some of that heritage throughout. So this property was part of W.D. Campbell's estate, which went all the way back to the Christian school behind our farmhouse here, going down across the other side of Buck Mountain Road. This parcel was left to Llyod Campbell. And Llyod Campbell's daughter was Nadine Campbell, who in 1949 built this house with her husband, David Lowe, and they raised their family here. Miss Nadine lived here her whole life, and when she couldn't be here anymore, the house was sold to us. We restored it, but we wanted to preserve the elements of the history that was here, and many of the things that you see here came from Miss Nadine, and many of the other things that we've added here help to accent the heritage of this as a farmhouse, a family house, and then Grandma's house throughout its 70-year history. So with that, why don't we walk around and see what we have. So some of the things that we've done to preserve the character of the house and the history. These plates actually belonged to Miss Nadine. We got them along with the house. We wanted to keep them and give them a place of honor. And so that's why we've got them displayed here on the wall with the plate hangers. We also wanted to keep a high chair that was era appropriate. You can see that in the corner here. We did go with new modern furniture. These were actually custom made. All the furniture that you see in the house that looks like this with the red tops and the black bottoms were made to go with the house because we wanted to preserve a lot of that color that you see throughout the house. I'm going to show the knotty oak in the living room and in the kitchen and in the bedrooms. We wanted the new modern furniture to go with that. So here in the living room, the house had actually blue curtains when we bought it, and we liked that there was some light blue, but during the course of the modernization we wanted to bring the furniture up to a little bit more modern aesthetic, but also to preserve some of the colors, and that's why we went with the light blue that's in here. The coffee table is new, but was built to go right here in this space, and also to kind of match and blend in with the knotty pine that's here. The knotty pine paneling and mantle, these were very common in the era that this house was built in the 1950s, and a lot of this was kept and restored for us, for the next generation going forward, and we wanted to have a lot of the new furniture match some of that. So this is also made from pine and keeps that same aesthetic and coloring. So we kept a lot of the cross-stitching in the house. This calendar was actually, it came with the house. We cleaned it up and restored it, and we're happy to see it live on for the next generation to enjoy. In the kitchen, one of the things that we wanted to preserve in the kitchen was both some of the things that were already here, as well as some things that honor the heritage of the house. So the Jello molds that you see up here, the copper Jello molds, they were actually originally here. We cleaned them up in addition to the knotty pine cabinets, and those are going to obviously live on. The same goes for a lot of the tea rose dishes that we have. You can see we've got the butter dish over here, we've got the cookie jar over there, we've got the soap dispenser rabbit. A lot of those were here, and we got more to fill out those sets. Some things that honor the heritage of the farmhouse is you've got the pig and the chicken for the oven mitt holders. As we said before, there used to be a pig pen right out here when this was a farmhouse. There was a pig pen right out there. We kept the aprons, as it was common to have aprons in Grandma's kitchen, and you know, the chickens and vegetables on the wall that helped to give it that farmhouse feel, because this was a farmhouse. We do have the cast iron skillet down there for you to have that, you know, old-fashioned feel to the meals if you make here. This item right here, this is actually an ice grinder from the 1950s. It's clean. You don't have to use it, but that's what it is. That's an ice grinder, and so it would grind ice because the ice would come in blocks, and it would have to be ground for you to be used, for a lot of things. So that's what that item is right there. As we go elsewhere in the house, you can see some other things we did to keep the character of it. So this armoire here was actually made from cabinets that were in the kitchen. So we had to move some of the cabinets around, but these doors were then used to make the armoire in the bedroom. Something you'll see in all the rooms are actually the apple baskets for the waste baskets here. And all of the land around here were apple orchards. These were all apple orchards going back up into the back, into the farm. The Campbell farm had, apple orchards everywhere. They're not here anymore. But in order for us to give a little bit of recognition to that history, we've got the apple baskets for the waste baskets here. Something that's interesting is the stainless steel countertops here were actually made by Mr. Lowe. He was a metal worker, and he made these countertops for his family back in the 1950s. So these countertops have stood the test of time. We wanted to keep that, and so that's why we added the stainless steel table over here to keep that stainless steel look from the old portion of the kitchen to the new portion of the kitchen. What's interesting though about the layout of the house, you see this brick wall that's right here. So the original house was actually just this section right here going up to where the living room is. That was the original house that was built in the 1950s. The house actually ended right here, and this was the front door. So the living room was actually added in the 1960s. In the early 1960s, the living room was added, and then these other two bedrooms here were also added. And that's why when you look down, when you walk through here, you'll notice that the floor changes right here, and there is an exterior brick wall right there, because this is where the original house ended, was right here, and these two bedrooms were added on in the 1950s. So the original house was really one bedroom. It was a one-bedroom house, and then the two extra bedrooms and the living room were added on in the 1950s. I'll put some of the aerial photographs that show that. So you can see in this aerial photograph here from 1949, Grandma's house is right here in the center, and you can see really just how small it is. Off to the left here is the farmhouse, and you see all these fields are cleared. In this next aerial photograph from 1962, you can see that the living room and bedroom additions have been added, and a lot of that farmland there that's just to the north, which is now parkway land, has now grown over. In this final photograph from 1969, you can see the woods have gotten thicker there and the parkway land, and the outline of the additions of the bedrooms and the living rooms are a bit more clear. So that's it. Those are some things that we've done to preserve the character here. We've got the cross stitching, the sampler, and that's Grandma's house. Grandma's house that was a farmhouse first, and then was a family home, and then Grandma's house as it has lived its last 70 years. And we have revitalized it to be the short-term rental that it is, and kept the elements that make it modern, yet still incorporates aspects of its heritage, including its farm heritage and its most recent heritage as being Grandma's house.